How's it going? Welcome back. Today, I'm going to be using the supply pack plus the Supply FRV to just basically spam Giga Grenades because I think it's funny. My stratagems I took, 500 kilogram bomb, the 120 Barrage, the Railgun, the supply pack, and I took Vitality Booster, I took the Amendment, I took the Missile Pistol, I took Giga Grenades, and then we have the Supply FRV as a free stratagem right now. To be honest, if I was going to replace one of the parts of this build with the Supply FRV, it would be the Railgun. I really just brought the Railgun just in case this didn't work as well as I thought it would. But I don't think I used it that much, and I think I did kind of screw up a little bit. I did decide to hot drop on the Automaton Fortress just because this kind of feels like the most efficient way to do this. And right off the bat, great thing about this, we have a War Starter Seed, which a lot of people would be unhappy about just because it's typically considered harder than standard seeds. But I actually specifically wanted a War Starter Seed for this because I wanted this to be pretty close to the hardest bot content in the game, a flag mission with a War Starter Seed, because we literally just have infinite supplies right now. Like with the Supply FRV, we just have genuinely infinite supplies, so there's no reason not to just abuse the fuck out of that, to be honest with you. And I think that a lot of my videos, at least in the time being, are going to be me just using the Supply FRV and just doing kind of stupid stuff with it, because in my opinion, I don't think that it is going to stay in its current state, so I'm having fun with it as it is. I brought the Amendment. It is a marksman rifle. I do think it is pretty close to best in slot outside of the explosive and plasma weapons. It's like one of the best ballistics weapons. Now this is a little bit of a rough start because I don't actually normally play bots that often, and I did kind of screw up a little bit, but things get going a little more consistently in a little bit. I was not fully tryharding this game. To be honest, I didn't actually intend to solo this mission at first. This was originally just going to be like a test run to see how viable the spamming of Giga Grenades is, just because of the recent changes where we have literally insane amounts of supplies now with the Supply FRV, and just comboing that with the supply pack to double them all. And then now Giga Grenades also resupply 2 at a time instead of 1 at a time. So the amount of Giga Grenades that you can throw has grown literally exponentially because the amount you get has doubled. The amount of supplies we get, you can double with the supply pack, and then basically quadruple that with the Supply FRV on top of that. So I could just fucking spam what's essentially some of the best anti-tank in the entire game, which is pretty funny, and that's the goal here. As you can see, they are fantastic against War Striders. As long as you just land a hit with them, they typically die in one, which is pretty nice. This is stupid, by the way. Don't try and do this. I keep trying to peek this guy. Don't do that. That's just a losing battle, and it just did not work out. I mean, eventually once it stopped firing because his gun overheated, it worked out. But I could have just waited behind cover. I mean, it doesn't really matter because since we genuinely have basically near infinite supplies, we have more supplies than we can possibly need. So it really doesn't matter because I can just stim literally everything, and that's kind of the gist of my. It's not really even a complaint. It's just I think that I will be. I don't know. Yeah, I guess it is a complaint. I will be surprised if the FRV remains unchanged. It is kind of just absurdly good, and you can get away with so fucking much with it. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean, even with all that, War Striders are still kind of bullshit. I don't really like War Striders personally. I think the spawn rate is overtuned compared to the relative strength of the enemy. But whatever. I don't really fight the automatons enough to really care that much, to be honest with you. I think they're the most boring faction. And I think they're relatively easy comparatively. I think a lot of I mean, I've talked about it before. I'm not going to like harp on it 100 times. I'm just going to leave it be for now. I will say with this, I will say it was kind of fun. I mean, just spamming Giga Grenades, it was pretty... well, I don't know about funny. It was more funny than fun because you're just like throwing just a metric fuck ton of grenades, which is it's pretty funny. Yeah. I will say the first 2 flags that I do don't really show like the relative power of the build. It's only on the last flag that I'm like, this is like how it should have been the entire time. It's just I was kind of being stupid for the first 2 flags and then didn't fully realize the build's potential. But since the run was successful, I was like, well, I might as well just upload it anyways. As you can see, we pull up here, and then our anti-tank is basically just Giga Grenades. So that's what we're using. Because it kills Hulks, kills War Striders. Enough of them will kill a Factory Strider. It's just solid. No, I mean, I guess one of the ragdoll effect on the War Striders grenades is crazy. I would rather them just like turn the ragdoll down and turn the lethality up on them. But whatever. We did focus on getting LiDAR done just because it reveals a lot of the map as fast as humanly possible. I will say, I wasn't like, this mission is not very like locked in just because I was, as I said originally, it was meant to be like a test run, and I was just like, oh, let's just see how it feels. And you can see this is, dude, like the spawn rates of the bots is so low. I feel like, I think this is like, I'm probably gonna put the amount of kills I get in the thumbnail, but I think this is my new record for my highest amount of kills that I've gotten against automatons. But I've never kill farmed automatons just because I would honestly rather take a nap with their spawn rates. Like it'd be about as restful either way. They're very like, they just don't spawn that much, man. But it is what it is. So we finished LiDAR, and then we're like, all right, let's hop in the car and let's just drive over to compromise automaton defense systems because we have a car. We can just ignore literally everything going on here. But I did figure while I'm on my way, I might as well destroy some fabricators. So you can just swap seats. I think it's the crouch button on controllers and PC. So for me, it's C. I don't know what it is for controllers, but whatever you use to crouch is probably going to work. And then we can just grab some of these fabricators as we drive on by. And then I tried to resupply from my backpack there, and it just straight up did not work. So I was like, well, okay, what are we going to do? And since I can't resupply, I decided instead to throw a 500 kg over there. Just as we make our way through here, I did kind of roll the car a little bit, but to be honest, this terrain kind of sucks to drive on because those little cloud causing things will always cause the car to like blow up, or not blow up, but like they'll cause it to like kind of ragdoll in a sense. It's just not the greatest terrain to drive on. And I was trying to get a little interesting with it there by using the missile pistol to break the fence, and then basically using the FRV to make a ramp so I can just kind of walk on up. But obviously there was already a ramp, so I didn't really need to park the FRV there. But it is nice to immediately take the high ground because I think bots kind of roughly aim for center mass. So if you're standing up on high ground, some of their shots are going to potentially go into the ground. Yeah, I mean, the amendment's solid. I've used it a lot. I probably could have used a different marksman rifle. Like, I probably could use the Deadeye. I know a lot of people like the Deadeye. I think it's kind of meh. I mean, I think it's good against... Sorry, meh is not the right word. I think it's good against automatons. But I think it's like... It just kind of pales in comparison to like the Diligence or the Amendment. But, I don't know. I am like so far from the expert on bots, it's crazy. I think I have... I mean, it's kind of hard to tell because the spawn rates of bots are so low compared to bugs. But I have so many more bug kills, it's crazy. And then dude, automatons are the ones I have the least amount of kills on. But I don't know. I like to be honest, like to be perfectly clear, if there is a demand for people to want to see me play automatons, I will play automatons more, because I don't really care. I genuinely 100% no jokes, no memes or whatever. I genuinely think they are easier than bugs. I think when you like, if you watch my videos and you think I struggle on them more than bugs, I think it is literally just because I don't play them enough. Like, practice makes perfect with everything, and I think the bugs over time are just harder. But if you play like if I play like a full day of just automaton missions, automatons go back to just being incredibly easy and just like near clinical, where I just drop, I do all of the objectives, and then I just leave, and I'm like, I think at some point it's supposed to like be hard, I guess. But automatons just in general are very, very like they're not like a poorly designed faction. They're just kind of like, they just have a lot of issues. And here I'm like, see, this is like where the build was kind of intended to be, is just like spam grenades like this. But I don't really do it until much later in the video, because I have this mindset whenever I drive an FRV that I want to park it like outside of the line of fire. And what that normally means is like parking it off to the side of an objective. But I think unironically the best way to do it now, especially with like an FRV like this, is to just drive right onto the objective, because you want those supplies closer to you than not. And you don't really have to worry too much about the relative danger to the FRV. As like, you'll see it later on, especially with the flags, because I end up parking the FRV like off to the side for the first two, and they are awful to do, because it's just like an insane amount of enemies coming, and I just cannot spam grenades to my heart's content, because all of my supplies are just in my car, and I just parked my car like 100 miles away. Hyperbolically. But on the last flag, I do realize this, and I like 100% like actually park it on the flag, and just life gets so much easier so fast. It's crazy. The last flag compared to the first two I do is like night and day. If you want to click off this video at some point, I highly suggest you just skip to the last flag first, just so you can get an idea of how strong the build can actually be when I'm actually using it correctly. Because like everything before then is kind of just me like just messing around, it feels like. Now we have Eagle 500 specifically for detector towers and the like, so there's no reason for us to actually care about doing the Hell Bomb. But if you didn't bring Eagle 500, you can, in specific places, just drop the Hell Bomb off to the side and then use it from there. Now, I highly recommend watching someone else's video on that, because I haven't made a video on it, but it's not super specific, but there are places that look like it'll work where it doesn't, and vice versa. Yeah. I don't know. I think I just used I used my other stuff too much in this video. I think you could really get away with just constantly using the Giga Grenades. Like, I almost think you could probably do a full, like, I mean, if you did a different mission, you could for sure do it. But I think you could get away with only using Giga Grenades and nothing else. I just didn't really feel like it because it's automatons. But I think it's pretty funny. It's just like the whoa, pocket sun be upon you, if anyone's seen that meme. Now, if you're wondering what happened there, I got ragdolled mid-throw of a Giga Grenade. Because you can see, I think I went down from 1 to 0 in my grenade count, because it was in the process of leaving my hand when I got ragdolled. So it just ended up going like straight into the ground. If you shoot a factory strider's rocket, scout strider's rocket right next to your vehicle, whether it's a mech, car, or whatever, the explosion will damage it, which is why I shot his leg instead. That and the fact that he looked like he was glitched, because like he had like half of a head.
How about a nice cup of liver tea?
Giga Grenade has, I think, 40 demo force, something like that. So it can just one-tap the bioprocessors, which is exactly what I'm doing there. I think you probably could just use like Giga Grenade only. I will say, despite me like clowning on the automatons and saying like they're like kind of a snooze fest. I mean, it's. I don't think it's necessarily their fault that they're snooze fest. I think it's just the fact that it's kind of like they don't have like really any super interesting gameplay. It's all like kind of game decision making is what makes them easy. And like the way I'm playing now is more similar to how I play on the bugs. I did specifically try and bounce that. I did not want it to bounce as far as it did though. But you know, what can you do? It does still get it, so good enough. Like I think just knowing how to take cover, knowing when to take cover, knowing which objectives to prioritize, and just knowing a general idea of what stratagems are really, really good against the automatons. All of that. I just accidentally pulled my mic a little bit. Hopefully that didn't make an awful sound. I hope I remember to check for that. 15 minutes in? I'm not going to remember to check for that, but hopefully it didn't make an issue. Yeah, sorry. Knowing what stratagems are good, knowing like the general gist of like see, this is the problem here. I park my car off to the side here because I'm still in the mindset of like the typical FRV driver where I'm like, oh, I need to like park this where it's safe. I need to not think about that at all. What I need to be thinking about here is, hey, the FRV is our power spike to do the flag. And so what I should have done is I should have cleared the area, driven it all the way up here so that I can easily get to it, and then kind of assume it's more akin to a mech, where you view it as a power spike that is going to get you the flag done, and you're just going to have to live without it for a little bit afterwards. And that's just assuming it breaks, but they don't even target the FRV, so a lot of the times I wouldn't even have to worry about that. These Hulks were probably like the biggest issue with the build, just because they have a tendency to just run at you. And that was kind of stupid of me, but whatever. I don't use the Giga Grenade enough if it's not fully clear. Because I think... Ready to liberate. Oh, this was very unfortunate. Getting stuck. I mean, it's kind of... I don't know. I want to say it's kind of my fault because I landed on the Hulk, but I do feel like this is something that should be fixed. Like, I feel like they should just make a... If the player is stuck for X amount of time, lose collision with enemy corpses. And put that X pretty low. Like, I don't know, 3 seconds? 5 seconds maybe? 5 seconds would be more nice, I guess. Because otherwise people just like run into corpses for like 3 seconds and then they can phase through it. And then I don't learn my lesson at all. I do the exact same thing again. I just land directly on the next Hulk. I pick up the Railgun, but this is not actually what we want at all. We actually really just want the grenades. And to get that, we just need the supply back. But since we don't have that and can't see that, we kind of just make do with what we can, which is just finding supplies on the ground and calling a new supply back. But like, this was my mistake. I never should have let it get to this problem, because I shouldn't have let it have gotten to this point, because I should have cleared the enemies beforehand, and then I can just spam the grenades where the drop ships drop. But whatever, mistakes were made. Hindsight's 20/20. I think like I could do this run way cleaner. I could cut it down to like 30 minutes, and I could probably do a deathless if I really wanted to, and I could maybe do it with only Giga Grenades if I just wanted to like play bots a little more. But that does sound like a lot of work, so I probably won't do it. I might. I don't know. If we keep the Supply FRV, I might end up doing it. I do also think this is my first time doing the Raise Flags mission on the automatons outside of a mega factory on this channel. I mean, I've obviously done it before, but I didn't really start recording videos until like a couple months ago, so I may have not done it yet on this channel. I don't remember off the top of my head. And if that is, remind me to come back to this after the Supply FRV is fixed, because I think this is a very cheesy way to do it. And I can show you like actual legitimate ways once this strategy has been potentially nerfed. Man, my aim is bad. Maybe I really should just play some more automatons because my aim is getting kind of trash. I don't know. I don't remember how many kills I got out of this off the top of my head, but I remember it was pretty high. Like, for automatons, it was very high. Do you guys want to see me kill farm automatons? Because that's something I've, like, thought about doing in the past, but I wasn't really, like, super intrigued with the idea. I will say, like, probably my next couple of videos are all going to be either... it's almost assuredly just going to be me, like, abusing the Supply FRV, because I genuinely don't think we're going to keep it in its current state. I think it's going to get changed just because it's a little too good right now, and I feel like it's kind of it's very strange how good it is, in my opinion, but we'll see. Because I don't know, I guess one of the other things that was released that was very strong was the Bastion tank, and I don't know. I mean, we got to keep that in its strong state, so maybe we'll have to see. They dropped a factory starter over there, but I was already done with that objective ages ago, so I'm not really going to worry about it. It's probably just going to despawn. Now, that jammer is in a pretty rough place. We have to do it before we do either of these other two flags. Well, you can see, even just over the course of this mission, my accuracy with the Giga Grenades is improving drastically. I mean, it kind of helps that we're throwing like 2 or 3 per minute, which is insane compared to the relative, or what's supposed to be the relative scarcity of them. Like, dude, we get so many supplies. I had some ideas for like some pretty stupid builds, just that are made possible or incentivized by the sheer amount of of supplies we have. And I tried out one of them, and it didn't work, unfortunately, because of a mechanic that I didn't really think of at the time. But I don't really want to share too many details because I still think it's kind of doable, and I don't want anyone to take the idea first. So I'm going to try it again with some different changes a little bit, and then I'll like use it and then talk about it then. But it's just kind of like, it's kind of crazy because the Supply FRV, okay. Let me collect my thoughts for a second before I say what I'm going to say, so it comes out somewhat coherent. Okay. Given the increased amount of resupplies you get, it kind of allows you to spam certain things. However, you are still limited by reload speed. So there are certain things that I don't think are incredibly improved by it. For example, say the recoilless rifle. You're kind of hard limited by the reload speed of the recoilless anyways. And I think in solo play, at least, with the recoilless rifle, you aren't really going to see an insane difference using the recoilless with the Supply FRV versus just using it next to a normal resupply. And I don't think that's... I don't really have any like super thoughts on whether that's good, bad, or otherwise. That just kind of is what it is. However, in team play, I think the recoilless suddenly becomes a lot better because typically you would want to leave the Supply FRV, or sorry, you want to leave the resupply alone so that your teammates can actually have ammo. Whereas in solo, you can just bogart the entire resupply anyways. But now, with a Supply FRV, you can essentially do the resupply bogarting with just the Supply FRV without touching the resupply. And I think that is bad for the game. Because I think what it's going to lead to players doing is bringing the Supply FRV, going recoilless rifle, and then basically they would just drive to whatever the highest point on the map is. You can then stand there, hop on top of the car to get even more high ground, and then just snipe fabricators across the map. Now I think this is a perfectly usable thing to do in solo play, because regardless, you're going to be using the you're going to be using the recoilless rifle to do everything, and you're gonna like you can bogart a normal resupply anyways. So it doesn't change anything for solo play for the recoilless rifle, in my opinion, but it changes things in team play and makes team play significantly easier. And I genuinely think that that is overall bad for the game, because in my mind, if you do this in solo play, you are the one choosing how to interact with all of these objectives. You are the one going, hey, I want to just sit across the map and play aim trainer with a rocket launcher, and that's fine. Like, if you want to do that, that's awesome. I've literally made videos where I do basically exactly that. A lot of the times, if I have like the recoilless, I will drop on the fortress, and I will just spam recoilless shots across the map, because I think it's a big part of what makes that specific stratagem strong. However, I think in team play, if you are looking for somewhat of a challenge, and you have one player who is just taking a supply FRV, taking a resupply, or taking not even a resupply, just taking the recoilless rifle, driving off, and then doing half of the map while remaining entirely stationary, I think people are going to start to have a problem with that. Now, I know that I don't normally request anything from you guys, except for like likes, comments, subscribes, and all that stuff, which I still want. But just for the duration of me battling this Hulk, could you guys close your eyes and pretend that I hit that first shot? Because I think I end up just whiffing every single shot and then using a stratagem to kill. Dude, maybe, alright. Every time I play the automatons and I like rewatch the footage, I always end up thinking like, damn, maybe I actually do need to play them more, because my aim's getting kind of fucking rough. Dude, I even missed that. Although I think that was kind of more of an ergonomics issue. I think my crosshair was kind of on point. It was just the little dot was a little off. I could be wrong though. But anyways, I think that is bad for the game, because it's going to be one player who can trivialize the lobby. And the whole issue with this is that, sorry, the whole issue with that is that that's kind of a big deal. Is like one play, like previously, you're kind of limited by the amount of supplies in the lobby. You're limited by the amount of resupplies in the lobby, because it kind of changes how much you can get away with in a certain sense, right? You shouldn't be able to just like just take, like, I mean, in solos it doesn't matter. Here I realized that my shit was not on unsafe because that guy survived a shot, but whatever. But it like, I'm doing a really shit job of explaining this, because I don't actually like, I just kind of like start recording and just kind of riff, and I did not think about this extensively beforehand, and now I just started talking about it. But I do think it is a bad choice in a team game to have this kind of thing happen. Solo play, I mean, it doesn't really affect it, to be honest with you. I do think, because I was thinking a lot about how I would change the Supply FRV, and I think there's a couple of ideas you could have for it. And I think one of them would be to reduce the amount of supplies in it by a lot. I would reduce the amount of supplies. I would reduce them to 2. But hear me out on this. Hear me out. Before you go to the comment and go like 8 to 2, what are you, insane? I understand where you're coming from with this, but the point would be to go from 8 to 2, but allow the resupply vehicle to pick up resupplies off of the ground. Or like have a way to load it somehow. And basically what this would do is it would keep all of the same functionalities of giving you a mobile resupply without giving you an insane amount of resupplies just off rip. Because right now, in the current state, it is, right? If everyone brings the Supply FRV, you're going to have 8 per person. So you're going to have 32 more resupplies on top of the original 4. So you're going to have like 36. Whereas with my intended change, you would then have 2 per person, you have 8, and then you have 12. You basically give them a third of the current resupplies, because the current resupplies that we have is insane. Like, it's so unbelievably high. This was a really rough position to be in. I ended up actually having to resort to not using Giga Grenades, because I used all of them on the factory starter, basically. And now it's in kind of a rough position. I do end up trying to bank this off of that to land on the flag. And I used the missile pistol. I was trying to hit his leg joint. It didn't work out as well as I would have liked. I really, really needed supplies. And I did finally get them. And then we can start spamming grenades again, which is the whole point of the build. I think you could change like everything you want about this build, and just like the only things you really need to keep are the Supply FRV, the supply pack, and the grenades. That's like where I have no clue where that grenade went. I thought I threw that directly into the flagpole, but it exploded like I didn't, so I will take it. Man, my aim's awful. My aim is just like actually trash. I might actually just like grind automatons just because watching this is a wake-up call. My aim has gotten significantly worse. The bugs have made me soft. I mean, not really. I think it's just like different skill sets. And that's like part of the appeal, is that people prefer the more the more patient and thought out kind of like, oh, I want to like think about how I'm going to approach objectives and like do it this way, and I want to like stop and like go prone and take aim. People prefer that over the bots, where I prefer like the straight up just insanity of bugs, where it's like, okay, I turned my back and now there's 500 of them. 4 remaining is pretty close. 3 remaining, 2 remaining, 4 remaining back. As you can tell, the flag missions are, I mean, you have the same issue on the bug front, where you get down to like the last such amount, and then it's just like there's just constant stream of enemies coming in. 1 remaining. We're so close. We are like kind of not doing well on time at all. But anyways, yeah, that's what I would think would be the idea, is reduce it but allow it to take from the team's current resupply, so that you're incentivized to like bring one and load that one up and then play as a team with that one, rather than everyone just bring their own Supply FRV, do whatever the hell you want, and we'll finish the mission in like, I don't know, 10 minutes flat. Beautiful throw. That should get that. If it doesn't, it's going to be a real shame, because I'll have to come all the way back for it. We can call down our Supply FRV. We never actually destroyed the jammer earlier. We turned it off, and it stays off, thankfully. I do think maybe jammers should turn back on after a certain amount of time, because it is kind of crazy that you can just turn it off and leave. And previously I'd called a 500 kg on it. The way you're supposed to do 500 kgs to destroy the jammers is you want to, like the moment you finish with the console and it turns off, stand right next to the terminal, turn around 180 degrees so you're facing directly away from the terminal, and then throw the 500 kg at your feet. That will get it like 100% of the time. I didn't do it this time, and then I ended up just doing the Hell Bomb because 500 kg was on cooldown. But destroying the Fabricator typically will prevent enemy spawns on their dead objectives, so it didn't matter regardless. But yeah, I don't know. The Supply FRV is kind of crazy in the current state. My videos are probably just going to be abusing the fuck out of it. I do have some videos that aren't abusing the fuck out of it, but that's because they're recorded before the patch, and I gotta find a time or reason to upload those, because I don't really enjoy not that I don't enjoy, but I think that my videos do slightly better when I don't upload every day. So that's kind of why I've been trying to like space things out a little bit. I did upload every day like for a couple days in a row, just because I had I don't know, the Supply FRV was new and I wanted to talk about just how crazy it is. If you're wondering why this outpost was already like halfway done, it's because there's 2 fabricators on the inside that spawn very close to each other, and I'm 90% sure that a factory strider or war strider, someone with enough demo force, let off a shot too close to them and it blew them up. But hey, if they want to help me do this, that's fine. We are done with all of our outposts, all of our side objectives. We just have this last flag and extract. Now this is what the video is all but coming to. This is the climax. This is where the build actually gets used, because I finally realized that, hey, I need to actually like park the car next to where the flag comes down so I can actually like fully spam grenades. All right, hang on. Just like in real life, I do take my time parking it. Now the reason I parked it like that is because I wanted this rock to like kind of give me some semblance of cover. Just because, I mean, if a factory starter spawns, you do want it to have at least a little bit of cover, just in case. Otherwise, it could just get shot and destroyed really, really easily. I think if I was going to put a different limit on, like, I don't know, the Supply FRV is just so like fucking good right now. It's actually unbelievable. Especially when paired with the supply pack, you just double all of your stems, all of your, like, you just double all of your supplies. It's insane. You can get so much stuff. And to be fair, because you see me using like a fuck ton of Giga Grenades, do not assume that this is like a criticism of the amount of Giga Grenades we get. I think that was actually a needed change. I think that's solid. Like, that's perfectly fine. It makes the Giga Grenades a lot more usable. However, the supplies that we get are kind of fucking crazy. Like, you can get away with so much with it. It's insane. Like, I guess we didn't really get any super heavies, but like, I'm just doing this entire flag by just spamming grenades, which is kind of wild in my opinion. I might revisit this and just do like literally only grenades with supply pack and the Supply FRV. I don't know. I don't really like playing the bots, so we'll see. Because this is pretty absurd. But it would kind of make sense to do each different faction with a different grenade only run. Because I did what was it? I did Illuminate, which was pretty much just like thermites only, I guess. I mean, not really, because I did kill other things with other stuff. I don't know. I think you could 100% get away with doing like supply pack plus just Supply FRV with only Giga Grenades. Anyways, we are done with the mission. That last flag was unbelievably smooth. Just because we have the supplies to spare, I decided to just fuck that Hulk in particular. We can just drive by, grenade him real quick. It's not like we're stressing for supplies at all, so might as well. I do remember Extract being a little wild. And I'll go into more detail about that once we get there. I should have cleared it earlier, to be honest with you, so that when I arrived, I could just call Extract with no real issues, but I didn't do that. So now we have to, like, fight into what's essentially a, like a little outpost, I guess. I mean, dude, this is part of the reason why, in my opinion, Factory Striders are just fucking ridiculous. You have 4 on Extract. I feel like when I get, like, a tank seed, I get lucky to see, like, a tank. And then when I get a Factory Strider seed, I get lucky to see any enemy that is not a Factory Strider. Which is just entirely backwards, in my opinion. I don't know. I mean, I know that they gave him the medium spot weak point, but it really just does, like, enforce a very strict, bring anti-tank or don't have fun. See, at this point, I was like, hey, we have done pretty good. We're about to clear this off, and we're about to get get everything going. Nope. I'm about to die, and then I don't remember what happens, but I think they call in, and I just never get... I'd never get this called in. Ooh, big... Oh, I did miss. Still got him. But I was like, alright, perfect. We should be about good to call us in. And then I think I did just resupply my supply pack for free. Oh, I got stuck under the car. That's what happened. And then another War Strider shows up. Now, I guess there is one of the places where I got a little lucky with the War Strider grenades not having lethality, but instead having ragdoll strength, because it just flipped the car and allowed me to survive. I'm throwing literally everything I can right now because we're about to lose access to the superstore. So it's kind of just like, well, time to throw as much as we possibly can. And I will point out something weird happened that I'm going to talk about because I'm kind of curious to see everyone else's thoughts on it. We have literally like less than 10 seconds. So I pull out and I decide to call my supply pack. I call that before the timer. It lands with time left. I do Railgun, which was after the time. Railgun lands, supply pack doesn't. How's that work? What happened? Why did it work like that? Is my question. Dude, we killed four War Striders on the point, and now there's just another 4 here. I guess they did call it bot drop, but like, this is another. All right, never mind. I was about to be like, this is another Hulk where I'm just going to get away with just constantly fucking firing missed headshots. I was trying to loop back towards extract. That did not work out at all. So failed plan. I don't know. Overall, the build, how do I feel about it? I think you could play this way cleaner. I think this was pretty bad play, but it just kind of goes to show how strong it is, because you can just kind of get away with it. Like, you don't really have to be that good to actually get away with having infinite supplies and just chugging grenades all the time, which should be pretty obvious. I think now is where I'm going to miss a ton of shots. I don't know. I like the Hulk headshot box feels very weird. It's either higher or lower than it should be, in my opinion, but I feel like I'm the only person who has this problem, so maybe it's just a me issue. That's me forgetting that the Hulk, they ragdoll you all the time for no reason. I should have scoped in here. At this range, especially against these guys, yeah, there we go. The Railgun has a tendency to like kind of auto-target their shield for some reason. But if you hit anywhere in their upper midsection, it will kill Devastators. Or wait, these guys aren't called. Are these Devastators? Yeah, these are Devastators. The melee guys are Berserkers. Melee guys, sorry. And then, dude, we pull up and there's just another 2 War Striders. Like this, I don't know. Their spawn rate for War Striders is kind of crazy in my opinion. I might do this again just to see if I can do it with like just grenades, just because it's pretty funny. But we'll see. I don't know. I won't do it anytime soon because I have like other ideas for videos, and I have 2 other videos that I've recorded before the patch that I really need to like upload, but I haven't really found like a great time to do them. Just because I want to play with all the new stuff from the patch and talk about all the new stuff from the patch, which kind of leads me to into doing videos like this where I just do like a goofy build where the entire idea is just spam grenades. And I mean, it worked. It is really, really strong. I don't know. I think if you did make the FRV like pick up resupplies, I think you would have to make it drop all of its resupplies on destruction, so that you're not like running a high risk, high reward game of like if your FRV gets destroyed, there go like all of your resupplies. But however, another easy mission in the books. I don't know. I feel like the Supply FRV is just so good. I think it's just gonna be unfortunate because it's just gonna show up in every time I do any kind of hard mission now. The first thought in my mind is, okay, well, let's just bring the Supply FRV. And then it's not really a hard mission anymore. Like, I don't know. It is what it is, man. We'll see if they change it. I think they will. I think it is like it's kind of unbelievably strong to a point where it's going to affect people in multiplayer lobbies where they're like, oh, I want to play a difficulty 10. I want to struggle, and I want to like have that dopamine release of prevailing against all odds. And then I think that there's going to be people who are just like, oh, I want to just use the Supply FRV and dog walk the difficulty, and they're just going to show up, end up in the same lobbies, and people are going to complain because you just have enough supplies to get away with doing kind of crazy stuff. I don't know. Anyways, I'll stop complaining about it for this video because this video is over. But look forward to my next video where I complain about it more. I got 484 kills, 8 deaths, 77 stims used. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. See ya.